Well, kids tend to have a lot of questions about everything, right? Which is a good thing. Well, one way for you and your kiddo to learn and get answers is through reading. Well, Danny caught up with authors and podcast hosts Mindy and Thomas and Guy Raz.
Mindy, I want to start with you. Can you tell us more about this new book?
Sure, Danny. Sorry, I've got a dog. Jenny, this is real life. It's live, right? So Wow in the World, it's, like we said, it's our intergalactic guide to the universe and beyond. And so we take you through the formation of our planet. We take you through the universe, the neighborhood that the planet Earth all lives in, what it takes to be a star, a recipe for making a galaxy. But then we also take you to what life is like in outer space.
Hey, Guy Raz, did you know that the first food eaten in space was beef and liver paste squeezed from a tube?
Ooh, maybe we can order takeout instead.
Those delivery fees would be astronomical.
Well, that's true.
So we take you to the International Space Station. We learn what it takes to even get there in the first place, to apply for a job at NASA. What are some things that you need? Why is math important right now as a kid, and science? So we take you through all of that.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. No wonder this is just so out of this world. All right. Well, I know that Mindy has to go deal with the dog real quick, but Guy, I want to come to you anyway. What drew you to the topic of space?
Well, you know, as you mentioned, we've had a podcast called Wow in the World now for over 7 years, and we started it really because we wanted to figure out a way to make science really engaging and fun.
Mindy, did you know that the sun is more than 4.5 billion years old?
It's a lot of birthdays and a lot of unbirthdays, too.
And so we came up with this podcast. It's basically like a cartoon for the ear. It's a journey through all of the scientific wonders in our universe. And consistently, every time we do episodes about space, Mindy and I literally in the podcast, well, literally, but in the podcast, we've been in space many times. We've been in a black hole. We've seen a supernova. We've seen the Earth from outer space. We have our own spaceship on the podcast. And every time we're in outer space, kids and parents talk about how much their kids love those episodes. And so we've written other books. We wrote a book about the human body and a book about animals. And so we wanted to make a book for kids, and not just little kids. This book is full of real science. We wanted to make a book for kids, you know, roughly 5 to 12 years old, that really engage them about space, not just the science, but also the really fun and funny things about space.
Yeah, and I think that's what so many of us love about this concept, right? Is you really take us in there and you're in there with us, which is so exciting and so great, especially for our kiddos to be able to experience with you guys. So for you guys, for each of you, and Mindy, you can start. What are some of your favorite or most unexpected facts about outer space that you learned while putting the book together or doing the podcast? What kind of were the ones that were mind-blowing to you?
Well, I mean, for me, you know, there's lots of scientific facts in here, but I think one of the most surprising things to me is the fact that there are bags of astronaut poop on the moon right now. And they're not going anywhere until someone else goes up there and takes them away. There's no rain, there's no wind, there's nothing else to take them away. So the first footprints are still up there. Alan Shepard left a golf ball up there. There's the family photos of astronauts up there. Basically, I picture the moon looking like someone's messy room. People like taking a souvenir from the moon, which of course we have. We're also leaving souvenirs on the moon for future explorers, which I think is...
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, as Mindy said, I mean, we talk about real science in this book, black holes and supernovas and the chemicals and elements and gases that make up our universe, but also the fact that if you pass gas on the International Space Station, it's very unpleasant because there's no air circulation. And so it just kind of sits there for a very, very long time. All of these things we really did learn about space while researching this book.
Yeah. Okay. See, my favorite thing is that your favorite things are like the bodily function parts that completely just blow our minds because we don't have bodily functions in space as normal people do because there aren't people in space. So that makes sense. Oh gosh. Well, you guys, I love it so much. If this is a little bit of an indication of the book and the podcast and what you guys are doing, we cannot wait to dive in. Thank you both so much for taking the time. And Mindy, give that pup a treat for us. You know that we love.
Oh, he's got a squirrel. He's good.
Perfect. Thanks again, guys. You're the best.
Wowzers, if you want to learn even more out of this world facts, check out our newest book, Wow in Space.
Wow in Space is out now. Get a copy at harpercollins.com. HarperCollins sponsored today's mention.